Hi, it's Gary. Welcome to today's video. Today, I'm going to take a look at some more pens from my collection. This time, I'm going to focus on yellow or orange pens. So I've picked 5 of them. Got a nice range of prices as well. Join me now down on the table. We'll take a look at each pen. We'll do some writing samples just to see how they compare against each other. Welcome down to the table. Orange and yellow pens. What I'm going to do is fetch them out in price order. All of these pens have been filled with Diamine inks and they're Inkvent inks from the various different years. We start with the Jinhao 250. I stress in 250 because my mind, whenever I get this, I'd always wants to say X250, as in the X450, the X350. But this is not, this is just 250. And it does say, so we've got Jinhao there. And on the back here, we've got 250. Nice looking pen. Cheap pen as well. It's a metal pen, so there's a bit of weight to it. The cap pulls off. It is fairly stiff to pull off, which in a way is good. It won't accidentally come off in my pocket. It's a converter. Got a fairly full fill in there. As you can see, it's a fairly pale ink. We've got, I'm not sure if it's a metal section, it feels a bit plasticky. It does go quite thin. I hold my pens down near the bottom, so I do find this is okay. If you hold your pen further up, they've got these ribbed lines. They feel fairly rough, but if you hold your pen there, that gives you a really good grip, whereas down where I hold it, it is a bit slippy. We do have a small Jinhao nib on there, two-tone though, quite a nice nib. So we've got here a Jinhao 250. It's a fine nib. The price for this pen, as say, very inexpensive, $8 Aussie. The ink is by Diamine and it's a Celebration. I did look at a yellow ink to put in this because the body is fairly like, well, it's gold coloured, so it's quite yellowish, but I couldn't really find one that I thought would work well with this fine nib. Do our wasky squirrel grid. Yep, that ink comes off this really well. Nice flowing ink. The nib feels fairly smooth as well. Drying times, we go immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. After a minute there, that's dry. Do like this colour of this ink. As I say, not quite a match for the pen, but that doesn't matter really. It's actually quite nice, and I never really thought I'd use this Celebration ink, so I'm glad I've tried it. So that's the Jinhao 250. Up next, we've got a massive jump in price. We're going to the TWSBI Eco. This is the orange version. I love the Eco. I'm not going to say reasonably priced pen now because it's getting just outside of that. When I bought this, it was a lot cheaper, so it was very reasonably priced. Piston filling pen. Obviously not going to work the mechanism. I love the translucency of the orange as well, so we can actually see the nib through there. Take the cap off, the cap screws off. Got a nice translucent section as well. My fingers fit really nice on this section. There's a little lip, so I don't feel like I'm going to slip off the section. And the pen, it's a nice size in the hand. Here we've got the nib. This one's got a fine nib on it. I may change this for a 1.1 stub. I'm not 100% happy with this combo, so we'll have to see how it goes. The ink that's in here isn't actually the ink I was planning on using. That's in another pen later on, but when I was filling them, I had 4 pens to fill. I just managed to muck up and put the wrong ink in here, but it still works well. So we've got a TWSBI Eco. Say it's got a fine nib. The nib does feel quite a bit scratchier. Price-wise, 59 Aussie dollars. The ink, so obviously it's Diamine, as I've already said at the beginning. They're all Diamine Inkvent inks. And this is Fortune's Gold. Do like the look of this ink. I say not quite a match for the orange, but it's okay. Let's do that wasky squirrel grid. There's going up and down, side to side, and then hatches and more hatches. Drying times, so we got immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. After a minute, that's still smudging quite a bit. I'm not going to do a 2-minute test, but as a combo, this is fairly wet. And it'd be interesting, once I put the stub nib in here, to see what it's like when I've got that in. So this is the TWSBI Eco. I say, really is a good, affordable pen. One of my recommended starter pens, I will be honest. Move the page up ever so slightly. Up next, we've got the Nahvalur Key West. This is the Isla Morada version. So it's this yellow or goldy coloured base colour. Loads of like gold sparkles in it. Very blingy, in-your-face pen, this one. It's a very classic shape. It's a cartridge converter. Most Nahvalurs, they're piston fillers. This one, cartridge converter. The section, same material, so we're following through. Again, it's got that lip at the bottom, so it's nice and comfortable to use. Lengthwise, it's not too bad. This one I will show you posted. It will post. To me, feels a little bit back heavy, but it's more than usable. But I always use it unposted. We've got a number 6 nib on here. This is gold coloured. It's actually a steel nib. These are Nahvalur in-house made nibs. So we've got the Nahvalur or Nahvalur Key West with a medium nib, and to me this is a very generous medium nib. Price wise, 76 Aussie dollars. The ink is by Diamine and it's 3 Kings. Let's do our grid. See, being a medium nib, and I say being a generous medium nib, filling this spots really, really quickly. Drying times, immediate, 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute. One minute, that's nice and dry. So another fairly wet but quicker drying combo than that TWSBI Eco. I do like this colour as well. I think it's another one, good match for the pen. I may try this in one of my other pens because I really quite like it. It's got this nice brown tone coming through. So that's a Nahvalur Key West. My next pen, I'll just move the page up again. So my 4th pen. This is the one I was going to put that Fortune's Gold ink in, but messed up. So it's got the ink that was going to be going in the Eco. This is the ThatPenBloke fountain pen. So ThatPenBloke, he's a maker based here in Australia. This is a resin he poured himself. It's called Something Special. Absolutely love this. Love all the different colours in it. We've got yellows, we've got browns, there's like purples. Very pretty looking pen. Take the cap off. This one's a cartridge converter. There we've got the converter. There's no metal in here. It's all resin. So potentially, if you wanted to, you could eyedropper this. I don't intend to. The section, again, the same material. I do like the way here we've got greens on the back. And then the nib, this is a number 6 Yoho nib. Again, very nice pen. So this is the ThatPenBloke. He just calls it the fountain pen with a broad nib. It's a handmade pen. The price reflects that. When I bought it, it was 190 Aussie dollars. Contact him for updated pricing information. The ink by Diamine. And it's Flame. Nice orange ink. Doesn't actually look too bad with this yellow. Our Wasky Squirrel grid. Up and down. Side to side. Broad nib, filling this really well. Drying times. Immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. 1 minute. Still smudging there after a minute, so a fairly wet combo. Not going to do a 2-minute test though. I say I do like this. I think it would have looked nicer with that Fortune's Gold. Maybe when this has run out I might put Fortune's Gold in here. Whilst we're here, this is a broad nib. This is what I was saying about the Key West being fairly generous, because to me these lines look identical. So that's the ThatPenBloke fountain pen. Absolutely beautiful, stunning looking pen in real life. The camera really doesn't do it justice. Move it up one more time. So my final pen from Italy. This is a Leonardo Momento Magico. This is in the meal or honey pattern. Beautiful. Look at the way that the light plays on this. Piston filling pen. We've got a very generous ink window. I love the ink window on this. I really wish all piston pens had an ink window this big. The section, again, carries on with that pattern. Nice wide section, extremely comfortable. And then we've got on here a number 6 Leonardo nib. Made for them by Jinhao, I believe. It's a steel nib. It's nice in the hand though. You can post this. It does actually post quite well onto the body. But again, feels quite long and back heavy. So we've got a Leonardo Momento Magico with a broad nib. The price for this, 272 Aussie dollars. The ink by Diamine. And it's Candlelight. Do our grid. Side to side. Up and down. And then cross hatches. Drying times. Immediate. 10 seconds. 30 seconds. 1 minute. After a minute, teeniest bit of smudging, but near enough dry. Hopefully this comes over on the camera. Getting some gorgeous shading with this ink and pen. Really looks nice. Another one where I think the ink colour does quite match the pen, especially where we've got the shading and we've got the different shades here in the pen. I think they look really nice together. So that's the Leonardo Momento Magico. Just going to reposition the paper, then we'll write our sentences. Just dropping in to interrupt your regular programming. Would you like to help support the channel? If so, please consider joining as a member. As a member, you'll get early access to my videos. I normally upload them a couple of days before they go out, and as soon as they're uploaded, they'll be released to members. There'll also be a shout out at the end of the videos, and then as we get the members coming in, we'll actually chat among ourselves and work out what other perks, what other things you'd like me to add in. You know, would you like maybe a monthly live chat just for members? All down to us. So please, if you can, consider joining the channel. A link will be in the description down below. I'm going to write a sentence with each of the pens. When I do it, I'll move the mic down to the page so you can hear the pen writing. We're going to start with the Jinhao 250. Quite a smooth nib, flows over the paper really, really nice. Feels a little bit like you're writing on glass, if I was to be honest. Quite nice though, and there we can see fairly thin line. The TWSBI Eco. Very different writing experience. The nib on here feels really, really rough. It's as if it's scratching on the paper. You can hear it as well. Hopefully the mic was able to capture that. It's really, really scratchy. I personally don't mind it because I do like quite a bit of feedback in my pens. I like to know I'm writing. So of the two so far, this is actually the nicer writing experience. But definitely if you don't like feedback, if you don't like scratchiness, this nib certainly is not for you. So that was the TWSBI Eco. The Nahvalur Key West. This is another one, very, very, very glassy. To me, it reminds me when I'm using my iPad and Apple Pencil, it reminds me of the way that it feels like it's just writing on glass, which is what you're doing. Very glassy. I think that's why I don't often use this pen, because it's just too smooth. Now I know I could work on the nib, I could introduce some feedback, but I don't really want to do that. So that's the Key West. ThatPenBloke. Something special. This is certainly something special. I love writing with this pen. It's a good size. It is a fairly big pen, as you can see. Fairly nice section. The nib, not as much feedback as there was on the Eco, but certainly it's not glassy. It's just nice. It feels really nice on the page. Get a little bit of feedback. You get a little bit of like tactileness to it, so you can feel yourself writing. We have got a couple of places here on the U and anywhere else. Not really. We've got a little bit of shading, so that's something as I use this pen and ink more, I will look to see how the shading goes. So that's the ThatPenBloke fountain pen. Our final pen, the Leonardo Magico. Very similar in terms of feeling to what I was getting with the ThatPenBloke pen. So there's a little bit of feedback, a little bit of tactileness. What I do like with this, you can see it all the way through. We've got loads and loads of shading coming through, which really brings that extra character to my writing. And there's the pen with it, you can see. I think this ink, as I say, with the shading, matches all the different tones that we're seeing here in the actual pen. So that's the Leonardo Magico. Just going to reposition the page so we can take one final look at the pens. So my orange and yellow pens that we've been looking at today, We've got the Jinhao 250 with Diamine Celebration. We've got the TWSBI Eco with Diamine's Fortune's Gold. We've got the Nahvalur Key West with Diamine 3 Kings. We've got the ThatPenBloke fountain pen with Diamine Flame. One of the downsides, no clip, so it does tend to roll a bit. And we've got the Leonardo Momento Magico with Diamine Candlelight. So of these 5 pens, which one would I pick as my favourite? I'm afraid this is dead easy. It's the ThatPenBloke. It's handmade, so it's near enough one of a kind. The material he makes himself, so it's all made by him apart from the nib and the feed. Just a nice, really comfortable pen. Nice width. Only downside, as you've seen, it does tend to roll quite quickly. So all I do is I keep this pen rest on my desk here. This was made by the daughters of Just Turnings. It's just handy to have on my desk, so I've always got something there when I'm using a pen without a clip. So these are my orange and yellow fountain pens. I hope you've enjoyed today's video. Now, I'll be honest, I don't have many pens that fall into the orange or the yellow category, so it was a bit hard to find these, but I managed to scrape them together. Do you have any orange or yellow pens? Do you have a favourite? What's the reason you like it? Please drop a comment down below. Let's kickstart the conversation. Please hit the thumbs up button. Every time you like, every time you comment, just helps with the YouTube algorithm. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel so that you can get new videos as I release them. I'll talk to you again soon.